Detective James Wilson sat at his desk, staring at 3 case files. 3 murders in 3 weeks, each victim's name, starting with a different letter of the alphabet. First was Alice Brown, then Bob Carter, and now Charlie Davis. "Sir, another letter arrived," said Officer Sarah Parker, rushing into his office. She handed him an envelope with a typed message. "Catch me if you can, detective. I'm working my way through the alphabet. D is next." Wilson studied the pattern. All victims were killed in their homes between 9 p.m. and midnight. No signs of forced entry. Each body was found with a children's ABC book nearby, open to their initial. The detective called an emergency meeting. "We need to protect anyone whose first name starts with D. Get me a list." The team worked through the night, identifying potential targets. They found 27 people in their small town, fitting the pattern. Officers were assigned to watch each one. Days passed with no activity. Wilson barely slept, reviewing evidence. Something bothered him about the ABC books. They were all different editions, but from the same publisher, Educational Learning Press. He visited their office and discovered they had closed 5 years ago after a scandal. Their owner, Edward Anderson, had died in prison while serving time for fraud. His son, David Anderson, disappeared after the company's collapse. Wilson searched property records and found an abandoned warehouse owned by Educational Learning Press. When he arrived with his team, they heard music coming from inside the alphabet song playing on repeat. Inside, they found walls covered with newspaper clippings about the murders and hundreds of ABC books. A man sat at a desk, typing. "David Anderson," Wilson called out. "It's over." Anderson turned, smiling. "You're early, detective. I wasn't expecting you until I reached you for Wilson. The books were your signature. Your father's company, your revenge against a town that let it fail." "Each victim sat on the jury that convicted him," Anderson said. "They destroyed our family business, our name. I'm teaching them their ABCs all over again." Wilson stepped forward. "Your father committed fraud. The jury did their job. And I'm doing mine, letter by letter." Anderson reached for something under his desk. Wilson was faster. Before Anderson could grab his weapon, the detective had him in handcuffs. They found his next target list. Dorothy Evans was marked for tonight. In his apartment, they discovered detailed plans going all the way to Z. The ABC murders case was closed, but Wilson kept one of the books as a reminder. Sometimes at night, he would open it and think about how a simple children's book had helped catch a killer. Later, writing his report, Wilson noted, the killer's obsession with order became his downfall. In trying to teach others a lesson, Anderson taught us one instead. Even the most careful plans can be undone by the smallest details. The local newspaper headline read, "A BCK, ILLAR. See a UGHT Detective Wilson solves alphabet murders." Below it, in smaller print, David Anderson faces life in prison for 3 counts of first-degree murder. Wilson pinned the article next to the others on his office wall. 3 more families could rest easier tonight, knowing justice had been served. But he couldn't forget Anderson's words about reaching W. Sometimes the most dangerous criminals were the ones who made their plans personal. He closed the case file, but kept the ABC book in his desk drawer. Some lessons, he knew, were worth remembering.